What time is it?
Game time! Boo!
What up, YouTube? Do you know what your children are surfing? It's your boys, Detroit Love, P-Dubs Arcade Love, Michael B. the Game Genie, and Nostalgia with a preseason episode of the Super Game Room Dudes. Let's get it started.
What's going on, guys?
Ta-da!
That was actually pretty seamless. It's almost like I know how to do this now, right?
No, not really.
It was close.
It wasn't bad.
It's close enough. It's fine.
So anyways, guys, first off, I want to apologize. I know many of you are tuning in to see our lovely, beautiful, sex appeal host, P-Dubs Arcade Loft, but unfortunately, we can't find P-Dubs. We looked everywhere for him, and then we got tired, so we stopped looking. So I don't know where P-Dubs is, but if you're out there, P-Dubs, we miss you. No, P-Dubs won't be able to join us tonight, I don't think, but who knows? More than likely he'll show up halfway if he thinks we're not doing a good job. So we'll see if P-Dubs shows up. Hopefully he does. But I want to say thank you so much to 19K Fox for replacing him. And I got to tell you, you might be a little bit better looking than him. I'm just going to throw it out there.
Let's just be honest. There is no replacement for the Dubs, as we like to call him. But I'll be a decent stand-in. So.
Man, ever since he got those Luke Duke shorts, we haven't seen him.
That's what it is.
That's
he
true.
Got those Daisy Duke shorts, and he's living
That's
a different
the downfall.
lifestyle.
It's all over.
And ladies and gentlemen, we have the most charismatic man on the internet, Steven Nostalgia. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing good. I wasn't here last week.
You had
I
been
was
here
not
for
here
a month-
last week.
for a month or so.
Pretty much. I'm glad to be back. Hopefully I'll be around for another couple weeks, and then I'll be off for a couple more, and then it'll be good.
It's hard for me to do this without you. You know that, right?
I know we play off each other so much.
I know.
I'm the reason you're so successful. I get it, Mike.
we actually deeply, deeply love each other. So
It's an uncomfortable love, for sure.
yeah, that's
Mike
something.
inspired my love of bananas, actually.
Oh, really? That's for me?
Wow.
It's from you, Mike.
That is technical TMI there.
A little too close to home,
It's
Fox.
the definition of TMI.
Right.
Mike Hawkhurt says P-Dubs is busy recruiting the new host for season 2. And you know what's funny about that? If there was going to be some kind of massive turnover, that's exactly how it would happen. It would just like Friday night would come and P-Dubs say, "No show tonight, fellas," and then he'd just be on the air with somebody else.
Yep. Yeah, that's pretty accurate.
It's a damn shame.
Or he'd just shut it down and start doing the retro buzz with other people.
For season 3.
Anyways, what do you guys want to talk about? No P-Dubs, no rules. We can do whatever we want, man.
Sweet.
It's fair game. We can actually have fun tonight.
That's right.
That's it. There we go.
We
Okay,
can talk about dartboards without getting judged.
Oh, yeah.
You do want to talk about? Well, go ahead, Mike.
Let's do the over/under before we start of when P-Dubs will join. I'm guessing around 35 minutes.
Ooh, that's a good bet.
Right?
I'll put $10 on 42 minutes in. Between 42 and 44 minutes.
I'm saying 26 minutes. 26
minutes.
minutes.
I was going to do 25. Yeah.
20. Yeah. Really?
That but the price is right. 25.01.
Right.
I don't know. I think we got a little bit of extra time. I guess we'll see. We got the counter going, so.
Charlie Chuck says 22 minutes. I think that's a good guess too.
Yep. And the next person should say, what was the top answer? 45, so they can say 46.
I said 42 to 44.
I love this so much because it's a wrestling term that's so good to me. Plus, Gorilla Monsoon, that's totally you, Nostalgia.
That's fine. See, I don't know. I think it's going to be longer for P-Dubs. We're already 6 minutes in, guys. We're 6 minutes in.
Robert Bowling has the perfect answer, 69.3 minutes.
That's a good answer.
It's a decent, yeah. It's not bad.
All right. Well, while we're waiting for P-Dubs to undoubtedly appear out of nowhere, let's get started, guys. Where do you want to start tonight? There's so much to talk about. It's Summer Game Fest, Summer Gaming. I mean, so much stuff going on, so much cool stuff. I think probably the best place to start is with the bit of breaking news that P-Dubs actually threw our way earlier today with the shipping import data that came out about Arcade1Up Capcom Legacy cabinets. And I did say Legacy cabinets. So do you guys want to start there?
Yeah, they're doing a hot yoga cabinet.
Yeah, it's sad that we're just going to skip over the donut iiRcade. I can't believe we're going to do that.
No, we're going to come back to that. Because that's
we'll come back to it because I really wanted to talk about that. That was number one on my list, but I guess we can go ahead and check out this Capcom action.
You know what? P-Dubs is actually here.
Literally
He's here in the background, just writing it.
We all lost. He's
already corrected you. 7 minutes in, you've been corrected.
All right, so P-Dubs was kind enough to send us the FCC data. That's what it was, FCC data. It looks like we're getting 2 Capcom Legacy cabinets this year. So we saw 19K Fox, I always use your video for this. The leak from the GameFly leaks, $499, the Street Fighter 2 Hyper Fighting Legacy Capcom cabinet. It now looks like it's been slightly rebranded, where we're getting a Yoga Flame and a Hadouken Capcom Legacy cabinet. So 2 different Legacy cabinets. I'm guessing this is going to be a lot like X-Men versus Street Fighter and Marvel versus Capcom. So they're going to be sister cabinets. Or just different art.
I think the Capcom love is definitely there for sure. I mean, the relationship with Arcade1Up and Capcom has really been kind of crazy when you think about we were getting variants of Capcom products before anything else, right? And I think that it's interesting because I don't know of any side art that features Dalzim. So I don't know. I'm not sure. Is that just what we're talking about? Just a reskin of the same cabinet? Is it a slightly different games list, similar like what you just said with X-Men versus Street Fighter and MVC? I don't know. Are we going to get like art sort of digitized or pixelated from the game? Is it going to be something not so great like what we saw on the front of Big Blue? I don't know. I'm interested though.
Nostalgia?
Those are very good questions, Fox. I'm mostly, I think the Yoga Flame thing throws me off because I think the more memorable move is the Yoga Fire.
Mm-hmm.
So I would think like that just seems like a weird marketing. I don't know if it's a blunder, but I would certainly be marketing it, especially for I would argue that character is probably like in the bottom 50% in terms of popularity.
So yeah, if you have to choose your top 2 Street Fighter 2 characters of all time, you're definitely going to go number 1 Ryu or Ken. And then number 2,
Honda.
Dalsim. Definitely Dalsim.
Absolutely. No question.
They're going to sell tons of Dalsim shirts.
Do you think it's going to be... Here's another thing. So what art style are we going to see? Street Fighter 2 or like CPS 2 style, like the Marvel vs. Capcom style, Street Fighter Alpha, I guess, sprites? Because those super moves are way more dramatic than just the Street Fighter 2 versions.
It's just going to be plain ass Street Fighter 2. We all know this. Come
Just
on.
Ryu just standing there, not
Well,
even
no,
pulling off the move.
I've got it up on screen. And Fox, we talked about this. I actually shared this a little bit too early because I still don't know how to use StreamYards. I apologize, everybody. But before we get there, we've got a $2 super chat here from Scarpad's Comic Tracks. Arcade1Up sale plan to repackage cabs infinitum. I'm trying to say this right.
I don't
Infinitum.
know how to say it either.
Yeah. Thank you so much for the super chat, Scarpedge Comic Tracks. And you are right. So what my guess is that I think the art is going to be more so along the lines of what we saw from the Dim Mak cabinet. I don't know if it's going to be like 100% some kind of collaboration like they did with Steve Aoki here on the Dim Mak cabinet. But I think this is what you're looking at. You're going to get, your 3/4 scale cabinet. You'll get your hyper fighting marquee maybe up there. And then the side art will be based on one's going to be either Ryu or Ken with the Hadouken art. And then the other one's going to be Dalsim with the Yoga Flame. That's my guess. I don't know if there's going to be anything different inside the cabinet. I would guess they're both just going to be Capcom Legacy cabinets. And the big difference is going to be the art on the sides.
That's probably the safe bet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. I agree with that.
Do you think it'll be as stylized as this though, or do you think it'll be a little more generic? Because this is one of those things like you either like it or you don't.
Conzo Russ, what do you think, my man?
Hello, thanks for having me on. So it's not just 2 cabinets. There's 3 different model numbers there.
Oh, wow.
If you didn't check it out. So it says 2 of them with risers and one just says the Yoga Flame Edition with Wi-Fi. But there's 3 different model numbers on the FCC filing. So either it could be 2 things. It could either be just a standard like Walmart no riser edition, kind of like the cheapest bundle that you could get. Yeah. Or if it says no riser, it could be an XL version or a Pro version, right? So, I mean, that's potential, but it doesn't say anything to that effect, but it just says it doesn't have the riser in it. But there's 3 separate SKUs, but that my guess would be it's probably just a standard Walmart one because it says Yoga Flame Edition with riser without. So that's kind of what it is.
Well, these are legacy cabinets. We're all pretty much sure there are going to be cheaper Walmart versions. I also wonder with the cheaper Walmart versions, will they take out some of the quality of life features? Like, will the $2.99 Walmart version also not have molded coin doors?
Possibly, maybe not the lit marquees, right? The $2.99s are just pretty much base models, so no lit marquee. It still has Wi-Fi though, so it's going to be Wi-Fi enabled at least. But if you want that base cab, you can probably expect the same similar Yoga Flame artwork, just without the riser. So giving people what they want.
It's kind of like me, like I'm the Yoga Flame with riser, and Nostalgia's the Yoga Flame that you'd find at Walmart.
Something for everybody.
None of the legacies have molded coin doors. Is that correct? Or
these new ones do.
The new ones do.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And they are sexy.
Yes, they are.
Did they ever release any of the old legacy cabs without a riser though? Like this new wave of stuff?
The old legacies. Yeah,
they did. Like the
Midway and Capcom.
Yeah, some of them had
Capcom, Midway,
like an Atari
Pac-Man.
one. There wasn't a Atari one with no.
I don't know. I didn't see the
Legacy
Atari
has
one.
a riser. The Legacy has the Legacy Atari has a riser.
Yeah, and they never did a big blue without a riser, so it's just kind of weird their versions of cabs that they release. So
that's a good question.
I would think maybe they're going to experiment with having the 3/4 without the riser and just build it on one cabinet. I couldn't see them going totally without a riser.
MG says no. MG says no riser means XL extension sides. I think people are going to be disappointed by that. I don't want anybody to think like we didn't see any information on a like $6.99 or $7.99 XL Street Fighter cab on any of the GameFly leaks, and I don't anticipate an XL Street Fighter. B, you got the inside information on this, and you can drop this for everybody just to bring some education to people. But the XL cabs aren't a separate line of cabs so much as they are a line of sports cabs. That's kind of what you were told, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's when I was talking to Cyrus directly about what the XL style cabs were meant to be, and they were thinking bar sports type of games that would be in line with that theme. But that's not to say in the future they won't revisit things like fighting cabs. We know the first Pro cab is a fighting cab, but XL specifically, I think what we can expect here is just a 3/4 scale legacy version with and without a riser. I do
MG
think,
says
though-
you didn't see 3 legacy listings either. I think
Yeah,
MG's just determined that's going to be an XL cab. Like, he's so wrong, and I know he is.
It's true. At least there's some evidence that something's coming out that we didn't expect in terms of the naming conventions. What do you guys think about the shape of the cab? So I saw somebody here about the shape. What it'll look like? Big blue, winged versions. What do you guys think about the shape of this cab? Because the new legacies are in the shape of the marquee cabinet. So what do you think?
I'm kind of thinking notchback.
Yeah, with the little
probably-
Z back, like in the
Yeah,
back,
or
little
Z
cutout?
back, yeah,
Mhm.
or had kind of cut out. But I mean, Big Blue's definitely the most distinct. I don't
Mhm.
know that they'll go back with Big Blue. I think they'll definitely do something different just based on what we've seen with the other legacies. But I don't know.
I think they're going back to the original swan neck design, the very first Arcade1Ups.
The
Mike,
shark
you and I are on the
fin.
same
Yes!
wavelength. Yep.
Finally.
They're gonna just have it in the shape of Dalsim, going Hadouken, and just
Oh,
cut
that's
out
what
his-
that means. It's actually the This, it's,
Yeah.
it's actually the character.
So I have a feeling it will either be not a Big Blue, but like a more traditional Capcom molded shape. Maybe think of what the actual Street Fighter II Championship Edition cabs traditionally look like. Except, and here's the reason why I think it's okay to let it slide on the artwork on this one. As much as I am like, I want authentic artwork all the time. It's not going to be a Z back Kong Zeros. I'll bring it up on screen. We're not getting a Z back.
Yeah, baby.
No, yeah. it
Well,
could-
we saw that. No, listen. Look at the Pac-Mania. It's got a little.
It does have a little notch in
It's
the
it's a
back.
nod. It's
Maybe.
not as dramatic as that.
Mhm.
I'll give you that. It's
Yes.
not as dramatic as that, but
Yeah, and then and it also like has that little cutout in the front. Is like
yes.
you've seen a lot of these style
Yes.
cabinets have that little cut in the front too, so a little bit more tilted. It's not impossible for them to do something like this.
No.
But
It's
yeah,
highly improbable though. It's a legacy.
Can you go down to that 1943 cab? That's what I
this
think
is
it's gonna
also this is also Capcom style cab, right?
be. Yeah,
Ooh.
that's what
Yeah.
I think this is going to be. This is my
Mhm.
guess for what the legacy cab will be more like. A tool says that it's going to be a dynamo cab, maybe, and I think it'll be more along the lines of this. And then see the thing about Capcom, all their stuff was like conversion cabs. Like pretty much every cab was pretty much the same, and then it just had that square stick around the side. Like we saw that with Marvel versus Capcom. Oh,
Mhm.
I'm taking this off the screen. Don't get him excited.
I just had to.
Don't get him excited. But
So
we
close.
saw this with Marvel versus Capcom because when all the Capcom cabinets come out, they're all conversion cabs. They were all 6-button fighter dynamo cabs, and then they would come out with a new marquee, a new control overlay, and then they would just slap a square stick around the side, a Thanos stepping on somebody, or X-Men versus Street Fighter. So I mean, there's not a lot they can do with the side art. Like the Street Fighter 2 side art's very plain. So they had such success with Marvel versus Capcom. Maybe they're going to go in the same direction as the art that they had for Marvel versus Capcom for the Street Fighter Legacy cabinets. That's my guess.
Okay. I'm curious what Dynamo cabs were. So this is a version of Dynamo cabs I'm going to pull up right now. Can you see that?
Yes.
Yeah.
That,
so
that would
something
be
like
that
this.
would be an accurate hyper fighting cab, but I don't think we're getting that.
With the turbo marquee, the hyper marquee, like the orange.
I don't think we're getting that.
Yeah. So what? But what was the leak though? Didn't it say it was hyper fighting legacy
Yeah,
cab?
it's
actually- right.
Street Fighter 2 Turbo hyper fighting, but
Yeah.
we'll get that marquee. But I think I'll tell you something else. I'll throw a weird suggestion out here. Is there a chance that maybe Arcade1Up's targets weren't met on some of the more recent Street Fighter releases? So they think they might have had to go in a different direction. So this was leaked, hyper fighting, and they were just going to come out with a plain cab. And then they were like, "Now we got to do something different. People are tired of buying the same Street Fighter cab over and over and over again." Maybe.
Yeah. I was just looking up different versions of Dynamo cabs.
Yeah.
Different options in art.
The games
but-
list is going to be unique because there's been so many iterations of Capcom. What's those other 2 games going to be? If we get everything that's on the current legacy, what would those 2 games be? There's a lot out there.
Anybody else want to jump in on this before I throw something in there?
Go ahead, Mike.
Chomping at the bit.
Yeah.
The other 2 Darkstalkers game. Just throw them on.
Oh, stop it.
Why wouldn't you?
No, I
Vampire
don't know, I'm just-
Savior.
I want a little more variety with my legacy cabs.
So you want Alien
Darkstalkers-
versus Predator?
That would be
That
so
would be-
good though.
Great way to start, right there. You go.
I'm not. That's like that would be if they put that on any cabinet. That's like such an amazing title to have. Like that would just influence people to buy it because that title is amazing.
So I didn't own the original Capcom Legacy lineup that had the 1943 Final Fight. Original Street Fighter 1 was on that cab. What else was on that cab? Do you think it'll just be that cabinet but Wi-Fi enabled? Because the other ones were very similar lineups, just Wi-Fi enabled, correct?
Yeah, so basically, these are evergreen cabinets. The idea is to have the same game lineup. If this is, in fact, a Capcom Legacy cab, I expect the same game lineup, plus they'll recreate what they did with the other Legacy cabs and add an additional 2 games. That's the safe guess.
I see. That's what you were saying.
The cool guess is that each cab is going to have a different collection of Capcom games, and they're going to try to get people to buy both cabinets because they're going to be sister cabinets, like X-Men versus Street Fighter and Marvel versus Capcom is. There's so many different ways they can go here. Are these just simply reskins, or are these going to be different cabinets?
I see. So Darkstalkers, Strider, Commando, Final Fight, Ghosts and Goblins, 1944, and the original Street Fighter are the different.
I'm thinking we've seen Captain Commando come out.
Mhm.
We could see that make its way there.
Yeah, that'd be a good one. That's a good beat 'em up.
That would be something because they have that unique. It's very generic. I mean, it's the 6 button, right? So you can really map that to anything. You could have anything on there. But is there something new that's gonna pop that we haven't seen in any other cabinet before?
Mega Man.
Shut up, the Mega Man Power Battle stuff.
It's coming. It's coming for sure.
It's coming. It's too funny.
I don't know. I just we never seem to get exactly what we want when it comes to the Marvel versus Capcom stuff. You know, everybody like we get superheroes over here, but we wanted Punisher included. We got that, but we didn't get Final Fight. It's like they never quite give you that definitive list. So, I mean, this may be every single game out there, but I know there's that Marvel overlap. They don't necessarily are going to call it a Capcom and include Marvel, so there's going to be that separation. So,
have they ever done Armored Warriors?
No, but they should. Son of a gun, that'd be awesome. Be really good. Cyberbots. I mean, there's just a ton of.
Chris Kingsborough actually has my winner here because Ghosts and Goblins is already on there. Throw on Ghouls and Ghosts. That'd be so badass.
That would be cool.
And here's the other person that was invited that just didn't show up for no reason at all. Console Kits. Rude.
Our feelings
Can
aren't
I
hurt at
ask
all.
who you guys think this is going to be? Like, who's the target market for these devices? Like, is this
people who like really tacky stuff that doesn't match the original arcades?
Well, I'm curious to know if, like, in the business plan or the marketing plan, they're hoping that existing customers are replacing older Street Fighter devices in their household with these, or is this something that they're hoping will appeal to the masses?
New customers.
You think so?
1,000,000%. Yeah.
I mean, it's a great time to piggyback on Street Fighter 6 news, right?
Yep.
So there's just a new cab release, adding extra Street Fighter anything. It's just a mountain and riding that wave of Street Fighter nostalgia. So
Yeah, I mean, a lot of things look terrible with that, like some of the artwork and the logo. So might as well make some terrible looking cabs to go with it.
it's a marketing train. People are talking about it. It's the perfect
Mike,
time
you are
to
really
do that.
showing your age, man.
I know.
It's interesting. As soon as you get past like a certain age, you can see the difference between people who hate it versus like all the other people who are younger than them absolutely love it. I've been hearing a ton of people like in the age range of like 20 to like 35 that are really into it. Mm-hmm. And then I've also heard anybody who's over like 40, 45, they're like, oh, it sucks.
It's terrible.
The artwork's dumb. The logo looks like crap.
The logo, well, no, the logo looks better.
Like I'm
The logo
watching
looks
an
better.
anime.
It looks better than what it was, but
Yeah.
what it was garbage. I mean, it really wasn't that great.
It's just, I'm just really mad they put pants on Chun-Li. Chun-Li don't need pants.
Never.
Oh, there'll be lots
Never
of
put pants on
DLC.
her.
Don't worry. She'll be in a panda suit pretty soon. Whatever.
That'll be DLC, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Lots and lots of costumes. Everything you can want and imagine.
I'm sorry, Carl. Do you want Chun-Li wearing pants?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but Carl doesn't want anyone wearing pants. He asked me not to wear pants to this show right before we went live.
You never
And
wear
you
pants.
complied.
So,
I guess we'll
so,
never know.
Anyways, MG, this is the last time I'll bring it up, but MG is still on this XL Street Fighter cab. It's not happening, brother. Save up a couple extra shekels for the Pro version later on this year. Pro for fighters, XL for sports and bar type games.
Look how many people in the chat saying that SF6 looks good.
That's
Come
what I'm
on.
saying.
Come
That's what I'm
on.
saying.
Your
I
audience
actually
likes it.
don't think it looks bad. I don't like the fact Chun-Li's wearing pants, and I like making fun of the logo thing because
Pants
all they had to
hater.
do with the logo was just do the traditional logo. I don't know why they're trying to get so creative with it. And a lot of people are really mad about the paint smears. We'll talk more about that as we get into summer of gaming, though. I don't want to go too far into Street Fighter 6 just yet.
So are you saying that the next XL cabinet is going to be Big Buck Hunter redone? Is that what
Actually, that I don't think Big Buck Hunter will. I don't think Big Buck Hunter will be redone anytime soon. I don't know how well that's sold, but that's definitely in that realm of possibility. Yeah,
because it was not the biggest complaint. The screen. I know you upgraded yours, Beacon, to have a bigger screen, right? Because it was just too small of a screen. So wouldn't that make sense for Big Buck Hunter to have a larger screen?
I think it makes a lot of sense.
Any shooter, honestly. But yeah, they do have those styles of like big screens and just a base. Like all the newer style Big Buck Hunters look exactly like that. So if they ever did one, it would be a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Hey everybody, Console Kits is here, and he got a haircut.
I got a haircut. I didn't know I got a haircut.
It looks like he's got a haircut.
What's going on? What's going on, guys? Where are we at in the show? Like, have we talked about the mini consoles yet?
No, we're not there yet. We saved that for you.
Okay, great. We're still on the Capcom kick?
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
What do you think it is, Justin? You're coming in late on this.
I don't really know. I know what I saw from, like, I guess the leak on the FCC. I don't know what's been said, but FCC means Wi-Fi. You don't apply for FCC unless there's some type of wireless connection. Zohar mentioned something to me about, he was messaging me about what's up with no riser. And so did it literally say no riser in the text?
There
Okay,
was
so-
three
It said with
SKUs.
Wi-Fi.
Yeah, and
Yes.
so 2 of them said with riser, and one just says Yoga Flame Edition with Wi-Fi, so no riser included.
Does it say no riser, or are we implying that?
Probably implying. So
The other two listings specify with riser. This
I
third
see.
does not,
Yeah,
but it
I'm-
says with Wi-Fi. I think that just applies to all three variations.
It's
So,
interesting. 'Cause-
Justin, I just got to catch you up here. There's this guy MG here in the chat, and he's really having a hard time understanding that they're not making a Street Fighter XL cabinet. Like he really wants it. He's trying to will it into existence.
I can't see them. I can't see them releasing an XL cab alongside these two legacies. It just doesn't make sense because they're going to cannibalize their own sales. People
But
will
Like what they did with
shift
Killer
away from-
Instinct.
But I can't see them releasing a legacy cab that doesn't have a riser because it just doesn't make sense to do that.
I mean,
Well, that's what the legacy cabs are.
just playing devil's advocate, you could say, why would they release the Walmart value? They're cannibalizing their own sale on, so the Pac-Man, they have a $315 version without any riser. That's
Yeah, it's
competing.
it's a different customer though.
You could say the same for XL. Why all of a
I
sudden
don't
you're-
think the price difference is as great when you're talking about a $300 cab versus a $600 or $500 cab. The gap is bigger. The percentage difference is substantially different, right?
So what if it's $600 versus $1,000? Does it work then?
Which cabinet's $1,000? You're talking about a Pro?
Talking about a Pro, I guess.
That's a different story. That wouldn't be a bad move because then you're still saying, "Hey, we got this amazing Street Fighter cabinet that you can blow $1,000 on, but if you don't have that much money, here's a $600 or $500 option." So that wouldn't be. I don't see that happening. I don't think this is a Pro. I don't
it
think it's
has
a Pro
legacy in the title of it as
Yeah.
well. So
There
yeah,
you go.
Well,
it
but
has the labels on the FCC side.
To be devil's advocate, the Golden Tee
The
is
Golden
also
Tee was like
technically legacy. I think
was
legacy
it?
is. It
Yeah.
says it, yes.
Yeah.
So
Oh.
legacy is like a throwaway term at this point. It really,
Oh, I
other
didn't
than
know
the
that.
price point that
Golden
we
Tee
assume
Legacy.
is associated with this product.
They have no clue what they're doing.
No, they don't.
So I hate to
just
add
words,
fuel
Justin.
to
They
the
don't
fire,
I
but
don't- where does it say legacy? I'm looking at their website. It says Golden Tee Arcade.
No.
If you pull
in
it
the
up right
shipping
now-
data, in the
Pull it
shipping
up.
data, it said legacy,
it
and if you
says it
turn
on the
on your
home
cabinet,
right.
on the front end, it's right
You're
there.
right.
And
You're
if you
right.
if you pull up my screen,
So
I have
weird.
it's on the FCC listings out of all the documents. There's 3 labels already for them. So here's the labels that are going to go onto the cab. So it says Capcom Legacy Arcade Game Yoga Flame Edition with Wi-Fi. The second one says Shinko Hadouken Edition Legacy with Riser Arcade1Up. And the third one says Capcom Yoga Flame Legacy Edition with Riser Arcade1Up.
Riser.
So there's 3 model numbers STF. So that's what I was looking
So
at.
all 3 have risers though.
But the first one doesn't say Riser. This is the one that says just with Wi-Fi.
Yeah,
Yoga Flame
that'll be the Pro
Edition
Edition.
with Wi-Fi. Yeah.
This is the Pro Edition.
That's going to be our Pro.
That's
That's not-
MG's. This is MG's cab right here.
No,
Or
it's
XL.
not-
MG said XL.
It's not an XL cab. Stop leading MG on. You guys are terrible.
No.
You're gonna take
Mike, I
MG
think-
to the prom and make him go home really unhappy.
Mike, we just got more information. This is very likely an XL cab.
It's not an XL cabinet. I know for sure there's
It's a
not
good
a Street Fighter
23%
XL cabinet
chance.
coming this
That
year.
there's a chance.
Yeah, it's a 60.39% chance it's an XL cab.
Absolutely.
I don't know why I keep thinking of this, but I used to be a roadie for Slipknot, right? Way back when their first album was out. And I remember working with the band and they're like, we got a contract, we got a deal and we're going to make, they make all the money off of merchandising, right? So they had a really good contract with that. So they go to the first Ozfest, right? And the guy running the show is all like, it's going to be so great. We're going to sell T-shirts that say Slipknot on it. And it says all the band members. And one of the kind of like the CEO of Slipknot, he goes, no, we're going to sell a T-shirt, 1 per person in the band. We're going to sell like 9 T-shirts. And everyone's like, no one's going to buy a T-shirt of just this band. No. Not only were they wrong,
Yep.
people came in and bought all the T-shirts.
Wow.
And
They
for
want the
some
collection.
reason,
Collect
they
them,
made
yeah.
they made a fortune off of it, right? And so making the connection is Arcade1Up going like, no, we don't have to sell Big Blue. We can sell every character in Street Fighter at the same time,
Collect
and
them
some
all.
people will collect them all.
I think you're right.
I bet you they release a Chun-Li cabinet and it flies. It
If
flies.
she better not have pants on.
Wait a minute. So did we check? Did we verify did it specifically call out on the label when we had a reskin of Midway, the Defender version? Did it say Defender Edition?
Interesting.
Is this
I don't
more than
know.
just a reskin?
It's a countercade, guys.
With
Anyways.
Riser, a countercade with Riser.
It's a yeah.
Okay, with
It's
Riser.
with the riser. That's right.
So I'm going to ask the real posing question here to Justin, who's just joining us. So Justin, what do you think of the idea of this cab having some real bullshit art on the side with either Dalsim or Ken or Ryu on it? Like, are you
Yeah.
excited about them moving away from making recreations of classic arcade cabinets and just doing whatever the hell they want now?
I think this is their move.
Very leading
This is
question.
going back to the original. Remember that interview from Bashar, and he was all like, "What do we have left to do? We've made all the arcades already. We got to think outside the box." And it makes it sound like his influence is still around, and he's all like, "I have an idea. Let's just make 12 cabinets, and we'll just do whatever artwork we want." Yeah. So to answer your question, Fox, Defender 40th Edition. Midway Legacy Edition. Are you saying like the word edition implies like
Well,
something-
I mean to call out Defender because we're calling out Yoga Flame Edition,
yeah.
Shinko Hadouken Edition. It's specifying the. Is it just specifying the artwork, or is there a completely different shape of the cab? I mean,
It's got to be artwork.
I tend to
It's just
agree, but
artwork.
it's the wording is different. And if you look at the FCC filing, there's a lot that's different when you compare this to what we usually see. Do you see 5G now in the nomenclature when you're talking about the Wi-Fi report? When you go to that specifically, it's calling. I'm not suggesting you're going to have to give Verizon to play your cab, but it's different, and I don't know why. You guys are software guys. What do you
The
think?
2 frequencies, right? There's the G and the what's the other one? The C and the G. What 2.4 gigahertz and 5 something.
No,
gigahertz?
not that. When you actually click on, I know what you're talking about, but when you actually go to the report itself, if you click on it, and it will typically bring up just the report. It's you're talking about that first section where it has the gigahertz frequency ranges. I'm not talking about that. If you scroll down and actually click on the test report, which there's different parts, each one actually has 5G Wi-Fi report instead of just the Wi-Fi report.
I don't know.
It's just a difference. Maybe it's doesn't mean anything, but I thought that was odd.
Okay, I'm thinking about this really, really hard. And I think I may have identified what the marketing strategy behind this is.
Oh, good.
I think I have it. So Arcade1Up has always sold these to people who were interested, taking them out of the box, having that whole unboxing experience, building the arcades, setting them up. They're beautiful. They're, functional furniture. They're in the living room, dining room, basement arcade, whatever it is. It's always visual collectors or purchasers. But now what they're doing is they're taking existing cabinets, reskinning them, and in this case, they're putting out a few different versions, probably more to come. And I think their market is for sealed in box collectors.
Oh, jeez.
And what they're going to do is they're going to market these. They're all the exact same. All the games are going to be exactly the same as what we've seen on a previous cabinet. The only difference is just the artwork, and the outside box will look different. So that way people can go and buy all the boxes, keep them sealed inside the box.
No way.
And this is where the collector value is going to be in these machines.
All right.
I figured it out.
Let
Okay,
me try.
Guys, conversation over. I got it.
Before Nostalgia says anything else stupid, I got to read some super chats here. So from Sosa Fam Bam Bam, we've got a $2 super chat. He would buy all of them. And then we've also got a $2 super chat here from Matt Jansen. I had no more wall space. Sad face. Sad face is every time I have to talk to Nostalgia. So anyways, thank you so much for the super chats, guys. Greatly appreciate it. I don't want to spend too much more time on this. I know it's exciting because we're getting new Arcade1Up shit and stuff like that, but we really have very little information to go on yet. It's strange. I don't think this is anything what we expected. This is so different than when we first saw the posting in the GameFly leaks for the Hyper Fighting Cab. So it's definitely interesting. It's a way they're going. As much as it's not for me, I will say that I want Arcade1Up to get closer and closer to recreating classic arcades. I want them to be more like Numbskull, quarter arcades, and Replicade. That's what I want to see Arcade1Up do for the 3/4 scale. I do understand there is a market for this, and I don't think these are for the people that already have Big Blue or already there. I think they're trying to bring in new people, younger people, people like Nostalgia that
Sealed in box collectors. Yeah.
That's so dumb. Anyways, people that in the fighting community maybe that want
so
some
clear,
art type
man.
stuff. Yeah,
They're just going to go to Evo 2022, and there's going to be a line of like 4 different Street Fighters, and they're going to be sold out.
yeah.
How many of us?
There's people that went nuts over that dim mat cab, right? It's not for us. None of us like that. The hardcore Arcade1Up fans are just going to look at this and be like, "That's stupid." But there might be a market out there, just not us.
I think there's less of a market for the general masses on these than like a standard, like the regular legacy cab that they've already released. I feel like this is too specific for the general masses. Like I feel like this was intended and going to be marketed towards people who are already in the user base that are looking to upgrade their machine for something that is more personal. That's what I genuinely think that's what this is. I don't know, man. I think that was a bad call. I think it was a bad decision, but that's not necessarily that far off from what we've seen Arcade1Up do in the past. So
they're going to keep doing it, and the next cab.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry. The next cab is going to be the behind-the-scene footage Terminator 2 edition.
That's right.
About damn time.
Just released.
Okay, so MG, I apologize, guys. I'm sorry about this, but I just got a message from Arcade1Up. MG's been right the whole time. But he's not right about the listings. There's a 4th cabinet coming out. Arcade1Up are in fact doing a XL Street Fighter cab. It's the Shaq Fu edition. So Shaq will be on the side of the cabinet.
Yes, Street Fighter 2 is now the new Pac-Man of how many times they're going to re-release that game. So
we kind of asked for it, right?
Yeah.
We said stop giving us a whole bunch of Pac-Man. They're like, fine, how about
This
Street
is
Fighter?
the only way because there's so many versions you can do. And now you have 8 characters you can put on the side art of it. I can't wait for the Zangief version with just his underwear as the main portion.
8 characters. You've also got M. Bison. You've also got Vega. Like, there's so much you can do with this.
What a
Hold on,
picture
wait a
of
sec. This just opens the door for them to do it with everything else. We get Mortal Kombat cabinets that have different characters all along the sides too.
Yeah.
Except for Johnny Cage.
'Cause
Everybody except for Johnny Cage.
If we get Nostalgia on the side of the art, then you'll have a Blanca cab. There it is.
Yeah, that's it.
All right. So, anyways, guys, let's wait and see what happens. The only thing we do know, we're getting a Street Fighter Legacy cabinet coming out, Capcom Legacy cab, and it's going to have a shitty TM monitor. Moving on.
Yes.
Yes.
All right, so moving on. Let's move over to iiRcade now really quickly before we move on to some of the more fun stuff. iiRcade released a new game today, and people were like, boo, which is surprising because I don't think they've tried the game. Has anybody else picked up Dodo?
No.
Just that it's National Donut Day, and I'm about to go get a donut. But I saw some gameplay earlier on the iiRcade zone, and it looks like a ladder game that's very like reminiscent of a game you've already played, but not quite. So,
Yeah.
It's like Burger Time meets something else. Ooh.
Yeah, I said it was Burger Time meets Donkey Kong Jr. Someone else said it's more reminiscent of Jumpman. So I don't know, but I was very surprised. iiRcade reached out to me. They were like, would you like a demo copy of the game? Never asked me to make a video, never asked me to do a post. They just said, would you like one? And I tried it out, and I actually called Dubs last night, and I was like, this game is badass, like really, really badass. It does suffer from the 8-way restrictor gate. There's no way to anytime you're going to have ladders and like precise movements like that, it's going to suck. But other than that, this game is so good. Like, it's stupid good.
Yeah, I'm gonna play it tonight. It's only $5, right? So it's a
Exactly.
it's a good deal. I saw gameplay. I didn't watch your video. I watched not that I was choosing between it, but
He chose.
no, CT Jason did a video of it. His editing was just amazing on it.
Yeah, it was good.
He's
I watched
just,
his too.
Constantly dying, but then he finally beats the level, and there's like this huge achievement feeling. It was a very emotional video. It was very cool.
Did you didn't watch my video, so you didn't see me say "suck it, Dodo"?
I didn't see it. It was like I saw his, and then I went into a wall of meetings. You know how it
Yeah.
is.
Suck it, Dodo. That was your first time playing it, though? So is this based off of like a true cab that was released somewhere, or
No,
was this just an indie game?
It's an indie game, retro inspired. It actually came out. It launched globally today on both iiRcade and Steam. Today was the
So it's
official
brand
launch
new.
of the game.
So it's a brand new game.
Yeah.
Oh, on
the
National
developer?
Donut Day. Oh, how fun!
On National
Okay.
Donut Day.
I
Yeah.
Makes sense.
get it. I like it.
Is the developer like a known indie developer, or is it just like some random developer that really doesn't have much exposure?
Rando.
Rando.
Pixel
them
Games,
fast.
it's called. You might know them better than me. I said in my video, I'd never heard of them before.
Pixel Games.
Yeah. Like there's so many studios called like Pixel Bash, Pixel Blast. Like there's all kinds of studios like that, but like Pixel Games, no, first time I ever heard of them. Oh, apparently Shoeshine says they made Siggy, and I think they also made the other game called Sir Loves a Lot, I think is another one. And who had 42 minutes on the P-Dubs bingo
Damn, I
list?
lost again.
Oh, is he here? Yeah. T-Dubs was literally waiting for the 42-minute
I think
marker.
he's been in the back room since 26
he's
minutes, but Michael
been
B
here the
just
whole
waited until the little man went this time.
Yeah.
Oh, come on now.
Yeah, I think the gameplay on this is really smooth looking. Again, I haven't played it, but it's like the way that the animation on the characters is what gives it a more modern little touch. You know, if you look at, games like Donkey Kong, like they're just pretty straightforward.
Hold on. We gotta fix something here. Hold on. We gotta fix something here. All right, cool. Now we're ready. Okay.
whoa.
All right.
The natural order of things.
All right. Look at that handsome guy right there.
I know.
Yeah,
Sexy.
Look at
I'm
that
just,
background.
I'm
so
stealing your
P-Dubs-ish.
I'm stealing your content on your own show. There you go.
All right. So what are we talking about? What did I miss?
This is a brand new game. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm not host.
Is that a toilet trying to eat him?
That's a
That is-
toilet.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Wow.
You ever see a toilet take a bite out of you?
So, Michael B, can you break down the actual storyline of this and why we are being attacked by a giant dodo? Go.
Dodo took all the donuts, and you want your donuts back.
And we're in a
So you
haunted
gotta get
house.
'em. I don't know what the hell is going on.
And it's a chef that's trying to capture his donuts.
He
in a
wants his
haunted house.
donuts
Dunkin'
back
Donuts
from
guy?
the dodo.
I
The
see.
toilet
time to
wants
make
him
the
to take a
donuts?
crap to get rid of some of the donuts that he's consumed. This is crazy.
Yeah.
Well, the official synopsis reads that you are Baker Billy Burns and you have to run, jump, and climb to outwit Donut Dodo and his bunch of clueless minions. That is the official synopsis.
And the toilet is a minion. I got you.
So
Sold.
I've been going back and forth with Endless One Up all day about this, and he said this game was a piece of shit. I told him, no, man, you got to play it. So it actually looks good. I'm winning him over slowly but surely.
So
That
iArcade,
oil, right? It's like straight out of Donkey Kong.
I know that's what it looks like.
so iArcade sent this out to a bunch of content creators. I gave it a shot early this morning before I started my day job. And let's just say there was a bunch of 4-letter curse words in my office at like 6:30 in the morning, and my wife is like, "What are you swearing about? It's 6:30 in the morning." I'm like, "The goddamn toilet keeps getting me." I really like this game personally. I think this game is hella fun. It's got great music. It plays super fun. It's just a cheesy, nice little thing to play, in my opinion. What about you guys?
Oh, look at that. He climbed over the top. Yeah. This is.
No,
this
I
is
was not having an iArcade. I couldn't play it, so I was just really confused by everything I saw. I had no idea what the hell this was about. But I'll take your word for it. I'm anxiously awaiting my gold edition so I can partake.
Mike's so happy.
So right there, you can see I got excited, and that's where I said, "Suck it, Dodo."
Highlight right there. I do like how they even is it the game itself, or did they put like a CRT filter on it through iArcade? Like it's trying to really emulate.
No, that's Arcade1Up's Vaseline filter. They borrowed it.
Is it?
Now it looks like these developers, they've got a few other games on the iArcade as well.
Mm-hmm.
And they all actually look fairly good. Like if you're into kind of like the sprite, like 2D platformer style games, it's actually looks like they know what they're doing. So that's interesting. They've also got another one coming out too, so maybe we'll see that on the iArcade as well when that's actually released.
Yeah,
what's this? This video is sponsored by Wallets.
yeah. What is up with that, Michael B?
Ridge wallets. You got to secure the bag, boys. You know, you get your wife pregnant.
All right. So since we're on this topic, I want to show you guys something here, and you guys can let me know what you think about it. So, the publisher who makes this game, Pixel Games, they've only made 4 games, and 3 of them are on the iArcade. The 4th game that Nostalgia just mentioned is one that they got coming soon. It's called Bobby Bombtastic. So I'm going to put this on the screen. This is this game.
That's different than what I'm talking about.
This looks good.
Oh, so this is Bobby Bombtastic. This is coming soon. Did you guys already show this off earlier? I know I got here late.
No.
All right, so this game's coming soon, and considering all of their games have ended up on iArcade, I would not be surprised if this game ends up on iArcade as well. And this game actually looks really enjoyable. If you guys go on YouTube and you want to hear the audio and see it, just look up Bobby Bomb like BOMB, Bombtastic on YouTube, and you guys can check out this trailer. But I think this game looks cool too. I'm really becoming a fan of this studio, this Pixel studio, because I like that the Siggy game with the knight who farts all the time. That's pretty funny. And the Sir Levelot game. Like, I'm really enjoying them. I think they're fun games. What do you guys think about how this one looks?
It looks nice.
After my experience with Donut Dodo, like I definitely have a lot of confidence in the studio now, so I'd probably give it a try.
Yeah.
I'd only buy it if it had Shaggy doing the soundtrack for Mr. Boombastic.
Really fantastic.
They call me Mr. Boombastic. Very nice.
Yeah, P-Dubs, the other game I'm seeing that they've got coming out is called Plutonium Pirates.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so that would be cool too, right?
They all look like they'd be fun to play for sure.
Yeah. All right. Mike, it's your show. I don't even know where we're at or what we're talking about.
We haven't talked about Arcade1Up's cab yet. Do you want to talk about that?
Which cab?
None of them. We haven't talked about Arcade1Up. We should probably
The
start
one
there.
you broke today, the one you leaked.
Yeah, the news you broke. Did you want to say anything on that? We talked about it earlier, but we didn't get your opinion on the whole Capcom Legacy.
Well, all we have is that little listing.
Yeah.
So we don't have a picture. We don't have a games list. We know nothing. But it does
Pretty
appear
much.
there are, 2 to 3 artwork variants of that. So I was when B Kong did his live stream, I said, "Is this the Marvel vs. Capcom? Is this it, or are we actually going to get Marvel vs. Capcom 2? Is that really going to happen?"
Yeah.
Fox, what do you think, Fox?
This is obviously that legacy that we saw. This is in no way, shape, or form the real Marvel vs. Capcom 2 that we will be getting this year. I really hope so.
Poor MG. it's gonna be a rough
still
period
thinks
for
it's
him.
an XL.
Well, until they do Alien versus Predator and Qbert, everything else is
We won't
just
be
not good.
satisfied, will we, P-dubs? We just
We
won't.
won't be. We will keep
No.
complaining. We will keep
Yeah,
complaining.
All right. So, it's funny. I will bring this up. I think that we're in the middle of Summer Game Fest right now. There's so much video game news that's going to be released and leaking this week. And it looks like all three of the major home arcade companies, At Games, iiRcade, and Arcade1Up, looks like they're all skipping Summer Game Fest. It looks like we're not getting any real release news this week. What do you guys think of that? Do you think that's a wise move, smart move, that they just, get missed in the mix with everything else going on and they should look to get their own opportunities? Or should they stand up and try to make a name for themselves during this period as well?
Well, didn't they just send some news articles and some videos out to like IGN and stuff?
Shack
All
News.
Yeah.
Like they got a couple million views off that. I mean, maybe they think that's all they need to do. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a news article or a YouTube video that drops a trailer like they did last year. I wouldn't be surprised. It's only what, Friday? They got time.
Yeah, I think maybe they're just not ready. They would have if they had something. They're not, because they don't.
A lot of
And they're probably
afterburner.
saving it for
I
Evo.
really wish.
All right, so
I don't know.
We got a super chat here from Console Fanboy. Hey, P-Dubs, Justin, Michael. Hey, everyone. Thank you so much for the super chat, Console Fanboy.
He's just like, hi.
Hi, everybody.
No,
Chris,
stop stealing Hollywood Polo's line. I haven't seen him in a chat recently.
Yeah, I haven't. Hollywood Polo just stopped coming to our chats. He doesn't love us anymore. No one asks me how my day is anymore. I'm very unhappy in life.
No one's
Yeah,
asking
that's
what you
something.
had for
I
dinner.
miss Polo.
I do too. Sosa Fam, Bam Bam, Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is the only game that matters. Kong knows. Thank you
Yeah,
very
it's-
much for the super chat, brother.
It's the one that he beat me in, so he's very, very happy that he took one off of me. So good job, Sosa fanboy.
All right, what else you got, Mike?
That was it. We don't have any.
Yeah, show's over, man. We're done.
That's
Show's
it.
over, man. No,
That's
we got
it?
lots more.
Chun Li
Lots
with or
more.
without pants?
Yeah, which one?
Without.
Absolutely.
So
Good man.
I do have our next topic lined up. Sony State of Play was there the other day. Anybody else watch it? Robert, we were actually talking during it.
Yes, we were.
Anybody else check it out?
Mm-mm.
I watched
Yeah, I
a couple independent videos, but I didn't actually watch the whole thing.
I was a big fan of Complete Geek TV, and they do a lot of times live streams watching it and reacting. So I got to catch part of their reactions to it. So those guys
Yeah.
are awesome. I wish they would do more content because they do such high quality stuff.
It is-
But yeah, I caught it
their
through
stuff
them.
looks top notch. Absolutely.
It's much better than yours, B. I just want you to know
Absolutely. No
Really pumped
lie.
about
no
Stray.
lie.
Dan Z, Dan in St. Louis, $2 super chat. Thank you so much. And also the guys from Complete Geek TV are just top notch characters too. So everybody go check them out. Again, like I said, much better than what B does. So, anyways, I do want to bring up State of Play. State of Play was very Resident Evil heavy. There was a lot of Resident Evil news. One of which was the fact that we're getting our next remake in the series. Surprisingly, Resident Evil 4. What does everybody think of that?
I'm surprised by that. I thought they would have done
Me too.
like a Resident Evil 3 before 4.
They did.
Right, Mike.
Resident Evil 4, and I've said this a bunch of times on our shows, in my opinion, is the best Resident Evil game of all time. It's my absolute favorite version of that game or number in that series. The fact that they're redoing it, you kind of feel like, it's kind of like a Hollywood movie. You're like, it was so good. Why are they doing it again? But I got to say, the trailer looked pretty cool for the Resident Evil 4. I'm interested. I'll probably pick it up because I have such a big attachment to the original Resident Evil 4. I just love that game. Love it so much. So.
I think it's a good point because that's when they really changed the way the game played and looked at the point of view of the camera. And I think this is going to benefit less than the others did from the remake. Not that it's not going to benefit, but it was a dramatic thing when you went from 1 and 2 to this new art style because of the nature of the game and the way it was played before. So,
and they're also not just that they got kind of rid of the zombies. Now you had the Plagueis or the Plagueis or whatever you called it, and the heads bursting open, and and you're running around this awesome castle, and the castle was amazing. The way whoever designed the castle, like every room in the castle, was a genius. And don't forget the level where all of a sudden they had you play as the little girl, remember? And you have no weapons, and you have to dodge all the enemies and sneak around like you're Batman. Nostalgia knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it's like that's every day for nostalgia.
It's like going
Tuesday.
It's like grocery shopping at the grocery store for nostalgia. I mean, Resident Evil 4 was amazing in my opinion. So I'm looking forward to it. So yeah.
Well, I'm curious to see how. I know it'll translate well. They already did Resident Evil 4 for VR, but now they said they're going to release it for the PSVR 2. So you're going to get like really high-end graphics and a Resident Evil game in VR for a game they've already done in VR with the classic game. So like I'm really looking forward to it. I actually think that might be a really good way to experience that game for the first time in the remastered version.
I'm very surprised by that because I saw that they're making a Resident Evil 4 remake, but I didn't see they were doing it in PSVR 2. I thought Resident Evil 8 Village was coming out in PSVR 2, or are they doing both of them?
I thought they were doing both. I'm pretty sure that the video I saw, I recall it saying
60.39% sure that you're wrong.
I don't think so.
70.8.
So Vic Vicious says Resident Evil 2 is greatest in the series. You are correct. It is.
That's my favorite too.
It is the second greatest in the series.
Resident Evil 4 Resident Evil 4 remake to get PSVR 2 content. 100%. There was probably a separate trailer for it then. Or maybe it wasn't, and it just at the end it also said coming to PSVR 2 or something like that.
So, very excited for that. I think I was a little disappointed because I was hoping they'd go in a little bit of a different direction. We've also got Resident Evil 0, which I'd like to see get some love. And especially what I was really hoping for was a Resident Evil Code Veronica remake because that game's so good. And
I loved it. Yep.
And they also announced Final Fantasy, 16? Do we have any Final Fantasy fans out there? I never got into Final Fantasy.
They didn't either. That's not the first announcement for it, is it?
No. That was announced during the initial PlayStation 5 launch announcement. Yeah. But we got some more information, and we're seeing that it looks like the storyline is going to have characters that are also ethers or summons as well. So you're going to actually be able to play the dude who becomes like Titan. You're going to be able to play the dude who becomes Bahamut, the chick who becomes Shiva. So that was weird. I don't know how I feel about that. But then again, I'm kind of frustrated with Final Fantasy. The gameplay has changed so much from what I grew up loving. Like now it's a hack and slash now. And I find that so weird.
Did you play any of the Final Fantasy VII remakes? Is that kind of like what you're referring to? Just the third-party hack and slash?
Yeah, I played Final Fantasy VII Remake, and I mean, I loved it because Final Fantasy VII is my favorite game in the series. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to love anything more Final Fantasy VII. But I'm talking more about Final Fantasy 15. Or was it 14? Which one? It was 15 was the last one that came out that was an actual console release and not an online, right?
Mm-hmm. Correct. Yeah, 14 was online.
That was a hack and slash too. I mean, there were elements of timed attacks, but I mean, for all intents and purposes, it wasn't turn-based combat.
This is for nostalgia. We got a $2 super chat here from Scarpad. How will PSVR 2 affect Oculus opinions? What do you think, man?
I don't think it will at all. Mm-hmm. I think that the Oculus or the Meta Quest, whatever you want to call it, is a very different animal to what the PSVR 2 is going to be. PSVR 2, I don't know if they've marketed it as being wireless, but I don't think it's going to be wireless. You obviously need the console to play. You're going to have very different, like the graphics processing is going to be very different. You're going to be able to have a much better screen and resolution in the PSVR 2. I feel like Oculus is like a gateway to get into PSVR, not the other way around. I don't think that. I think if you've got a PSVR 2, you've probably already dabbled in like Oculus or in the original PSVR. So I don't see it as being something that'll cannibalize one or the other. I think they complement each other. And you're never going to play that level of quality on a Quest anyways. So
Yeah.
I don't think it'll make much of a difference.
Really, a Quest is there's a phone in front of your face.
100%.
But it's really good because, I mean,
Yeah.
if you have the pixel density and you can kind of see everything, but when you take the power of something like an entire modern console and throw that in your eyes, it's going to be better.
Well, and you've got massively, I think it's like substantially wider viewing angles. Like that's what they were talking about. And that's I think, if there's one bad thing about the Quest, I would say that the viewing angles, like your peripherals, you still feel like you're wearing a set of goggles, right? You still get that block off, that shadowing effect on the outside. So the PSVR 2 is going to be an interesting VR piece.
Yeah,
like
of course, the Quest, just the barrier to entry is just so low, $299.
Oh, it's so cheap. Yeah.
I mean, that's like, if anyone doesn't have it, like, it's a great product to experience with your family. I mean, I'm not playing it every single day, but anytime I do, it's great, you know.
It's one of the best. I don't know what they call it, but I think it's like to gain your VR footing. If you know what I mean, like when you if you play VR for the very first time, often it's very like jarring, and you can get motion sick pretty quickly. The Quest is a really great option for somebody who wants to jump into VR and ease their way into something more expensive, because there's nothing worse than spending $1,000 on a VR system and realizing that you're going to puke after 15 minutes and you can't actually play. So
yeah, I think that's what's great about the Oculus is a lot of people that I know that were timid about buying the Oculus. I was able to persuade them. My sister is an example. She's like, roller coasters, I vomit. Anything like that, I vomit. And I was like, give it a shot. And she's like, oh my God, no problem. Like immediately immersed, immersive. She played like, the Star Wars games, and she was doing the lightsaber. She was completely convinced that she was in the Star Wars universe, but she didn't spend a lot of money to get that experience. So that's pretty cool. I feel like it's kind of like the Wii. Remember the Wii when everyone got the Wii? It's like that's what the Quest is. It's like got a lot of people into gaming.
100%.
We got a $2 donation from Prince. He just wanted us to know that he agrees Resident Evil Outbreak needs a remake. Thanks so much for the donation. Console Kits, what are we looking at here on your screen? What is flipping through? Why is this?
You guys are talking about it, so I'm just all like, there's pictures of what you guys are talking about. It's Final Fantasy.
I haven't played a new Final Fantasy in a while because, like, to your point, I really like turn-based and the old style of gameplay. But one of the things pre-pandemic, I don't know if you guys do mobile gaming, but I was hardcore into a game called Final Fantasy Brave Exvius, which was a 16-8-bit character gacha game with Final Fantasy characters from every series that you can play in an actual story that kind of made sense. I wasted tons of money on it. I went to like a festival. And so if you're looking for like a light nostalgia type of Final Fantasy experience, check it out. It's a mobile game. You can play it casually just a little bit, and then turn-based equipment, bulk up. It's a pretty fun game.
I don't know about that, man. Like mobile games, that's how you get your retro gamer card taken away here.
Is it?
Yeah. None of us admit to playing mobile games, man. You gotta watch out for
man. Yeah.
Hey, B Kong, what are we looking at right here? Is this going to get you hyped up?
That's the boss from Final Fantasy, or not Final Fantasy, Final Fight right there. So you have an open world first player version of Street Fighter 6 that they're going to be you can quest it out and be your own character. So in addition to the regular gameplay, and they made Chun-Li with pants, and they fixed her face features. She's more like not as full. So people like the new Chun-Li. So there she is, except for the pants.
And before we go on, we do have to give a shout out to our sponsor, 5 Hour Energy.
Vote for the next flavor.
Yep. Make sure you vote. Guys, let us know in the live chat. What do you think of Street Fighter 6? I'm not, again, everyone knows I like Mortal Kombat more than Street Fighter. So I'm like, meh. But what about you guys on the panel here? Who's hyped for this? Anybody besides B? We know B's hyped.
I like Street Fighter. I always pick up the new Street Fighters when they come out. Like, it's hard though, because, and I know people like when I say hard, but Capcom has showed a real propensity that the minute they release a Street Fighter, what's the point in getting it when it first comes out? You might as well wait until 3 months down the line when Ultra Super Street Fighter Championship Edition comes out. So like the constant updates on their fighting games now is a little bit frustrating. You get buyer's remorse for jumping in early.
Wow.
I mean, it definitely looks like a pretty cool game. I've never really been a fan of Mortal Kombat. It's just a 2D flat picture. It just never did anything for me. I've never really played more than any of the modern Street Fighters. So this is kind of a first look for me. I like what I see. It looks interesting.
Yep, we definitely have mixed reactions in the live chat. What about everyone else on the panel? Console Kits, are you gonna start running around the open world and just picking fights with people?
I don't know. I'm curious to see how that mechanic works. Like, is it? I hate the games where you come in and what you really want to do is just play this part of the game.
Yeah.
And then they just make it so hard to get to that point. I don't want this to be some weird story mode where you got to read a whole bunch of text. You're like, here's the story, and you got to read through it. And you're like, oh, you got to go find and pick a fight. Yeah, exactly.
It looks like an open world version of Final Fight in terms of the background setting. So it's set in that universe because you saw the boss character there. So that could be
And
interesting.
Yeah,
It also
rehash
says
of that.
Metro City on some of the signs. So,
Exactly.
Yeah, Final Fight. I will say that adding an open world to some games makes a lot of sense. Like when I first started playing Forza Horizon, I was like, what is this? A racing game in an open world, but it works so well. I don't know if a fighting game will really play into that because I just want to go fight. And I'm sure that'll be there. But if I got to do a bunch of stuff between fights, unless it's some kind of story mode like they provide with Mortal Kombat, I don't know if I'm going to be down with that. We'll see.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of open world games. I don't really like any of the games if you have to craft stuff together to be able to do stuff. If I can just go out and do whatever I want to do, that's a much fun experience than the crafting.
I gotta tell you a funny story now. I'm a big RPG guy, so one of my favorite things to do is I'll get the used to be Brady Games, but you get your strategy guide along with it, right? And if I look in the back and find there's like a 700-page section on crafting items and how it's essential to the game, I'm like, yep, not playing that one.
You didn't like the 10-hour Chocobo quest to get a gold Chocobo for Knights of the Round Materia? Oh, I loved that. Side quests are the best. But for Street Fighter, it's funny. I've been watching a lot of, and I sub to several fighting game community creators, JM Crofts, Maximilian Dude, and when they talk about when's the best time to get into a new fighting game, is it like you say, waiting a couple of months, or is it right away? Are you? And they say if you're really into fighting games, the first couple of months is actually the best time because everybody's at the same level and you're kind of learning together, and you don't have to jump in and automatically get whooped 3 months down the line when everything's already been said and done, or at least so that is, if you're a fan of fighting games, they prefer that first couple of weeks where people are still discovering new mechanics and things. And so if you're a fighting game fan, I've been getting more back into it based on kind of some of the retro content I've done. I got King of Fighters right when it released and was having fun the first couple of weeks. I haven't touched it in a while, but it is kind of fun to just be at the same level playing field as everybody that first couple of weeks.
So what's it like if the game's been out for like 30 years and then you start playing against the community?
I think you know the answer to that, Justin.
You still get good. Like nostalgia. But like retro games though, there's still young kids that are just naturally good at games. There's a guy on Big Blue. He's a 14-year-old kid who's literally kicking everybody's butt, and he's amazing. His name's Mal, and
he's got all day to play though.
Yeah,
he's got all day. When you're that young, man, you got no worries. You just playing games all the time.
But he's like Street Fighter 2 Champion Edition, and he's like the best. So it's like, it's cool.
I think with the open world bit here, I think we all know Street Fighter has a formula that works, and they know it works. So that's going to be in the game. You're going to have an arcade mode where you can just pick up and play and fight. The open world, I think, is them adding an element to the game as a bonus, not to replace something they know that people want. So I think it'll be cool. If you end up playing the open world part, awesome. If you like it, cool. If you don't, then just play Street Fighter the way that you want to play it. So I can't imagine that they would remove what you're talking about, Mike, where you just like sequentially beat a different character until you get to, the final fight. So
The final fight.
The final fight.
final
Final
fight.
fight. I like that.
The
Street Fighter 2, 2010. The final fight.
The final fight.
Whose boss character name is Damned.
Yeah.
So I was like, what a fun character name.
Did
So
you
guys,
guys?
let's- Oh no, go ahead, P-Dubs. I'm sorry, I'm taking your
Alright.
spot here. You know,
It's your
if
show,
you-
bro. It's your show.
Of
bro.
course it is. I showed up on time, not 42 minutes late.
Easy.
All right.
42 minutes and 33 seconds.
Hey man, you got the day
Who's
job
got-
pays the bills, guys. Day
You
job.
weren't working your day job.
Yes, I was. Now, here's what's funny though is did any of you guys see Toycade's video? Did you guys talk about that Nintendo Switch control panel for the Arcade1Up pinball machines?
What's a Toycade? Is that guy that puts the watermarks on his stuff?
Yes. Did anyone see his video?
I saw the bits of it and kind of saw what it could do.
No, I didn't-
Yeah,
I didn't see it.
switch pinball on
Yeah.
this.
Yeah, so the question is will some people get excited about that and choose to do that versus the pinner hacks, right? Like I thought that would be an interesting topic. But before we get their $10 donation from Hobby Hands, nothing to say, just thanks for the show. Well, thanks for the view, thanks for the donation. We greatly appreciate it. Guys, if you could easily plug your Nintendo Switch into your Arcade1Up pinball machines and play Switch pinball, is that something you'd be interested in? Let us know in the live chat. B, what'd you think about what you saw?
I think those are great kind of easy options to if you want to do a plug and play and you already own those tables. So it is nice to have that as an option. I think I've seen a tabletop version of that and other things you can convert to play your Switch pinball on any other device. It's not going to utilize everything like the second screen DMD. So you're going to lose out some of those features. If you wanted to go back to stock, you kind of have to swap it out and change out some of the screen things. So in my opinion, I had a lot of coverage on the A1 Pinner mod this last week, and it's fairly, in my opinion, simpler to do something like that and keep it stock. But if for those that like the tables and want to go that way, and you can play other games too. So look at that,
Yeah.
the Street Fighter and other things.
Mhm.
You're making a mini Legends pinball at that point. Just clear.
Yeah.
Guys, sorry, Mike, real quick. Guys, we want to give credit where credit's due. Make sure you guys check out Toycade, Toykade on YouTube. Make sure you guys check out this video, subscribe to his channel. He does a great video here showing off this prototype product. And the video was interesting because at the end of it, he said, well, Intech doesn't know if they're going to release this or not, but they're looking for feedback. So I guess feedback on the video or let Intech Gaming know on their social media.
Where's the
if-
Switch connected? Like, is it under the control panel?
I'm assuming it's either connected under the control. Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, it would probably. Sorry. All the boards and everything are under there that you need. But I'm assuming the Switch is probably outside the machine somewhere. That way you can easily get to it, right? So
Yeah.
Right.
So does it connect the DMD as well, or is it just the main
No,
screen?
it's just going to be the main screen. Switch only has
Just-
single video output.
I did see something on his DMD though, so I don't know what that was mirroring.
He probably mirrors the playfield up.
Yep. But they're going to have all these little boards that you stick in there. You do all the wiring. Geez, it looked like there were 5 or 6 boards that you had to plug in, but it would get up and running, and you'd be able to run this stuff. So, Chris says no DMD. Yeah, no DMD's a miss. Would you guys rather do this versus the pinner mod?
I think I'm going to take a high-end Android device
Mm-hmm.
and put that in there, and then take all the APKs from the vPinner and put it in that Android device.
Mm-hmm. mm-hmm.
I
Hey,
think
look,
I'm just-
it just became an At Games Legends pinball machine. Look at that.
That's right.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I wouldn't buy Arcade1Up cabinet and this to get this going. But again, I have Legends Pinball. I can already do this with my Legends Pinball. I can hook a PC up to my Legends Pinball and pretty much do anything in the world I want. So I don't see any value in this personally. But if you're not going to buy a Legends Pinball and you already have an Arcade1Up cabinet and you want to expand it, it's definitely a good option.
Yeah, I think you make a point there, but it's about like, hey, if you've already bought these games on Switch, right? You already play them on Switch, so you already have half of it. So you're just buying this. The other thing is, I don't know if we know the price, right? A lot of
Yeah.
Intech gaming stuff around that $100 price, which is
Yeah.
fairly good. And then also, what's good about Intech Gaming, it's kind of the key thing that I always like about them, especially their products in the Arcade1Up, the home arcade space, is it's drop-in stuff, right? Like, how many comments do you guys on the panel get where people just are like, well, how do you do that? And you might lead them in the right direction to be able to do some mod. And some people are just like, look, I don't understand that stuff, right? Like they're not like my brother is a highly, highly intelligent person. When it comes to music, he's a music producer. He could tell me on and on about this equipment, that equipment. But it comes to a computer and like which way to connect a USB this way or that way, he wouldn't know. He wouldn't know, right? And so
Looking at a USB though is pretty difficult, Justin.
You have trouble plugging things in the dark.
Yeah. So anyway, the idea that you can take something like a Nintendo Switch, it has HDMI out, you're going to plug it into this adapter that they have and plug it right in. At worst, what you're doing is you're removing the PCB that's connected to the back of the monitor, and you have that LVDS cable, right? And you swap it for theirs. Everything else is just plug and play after that. So it's one of those things where it's like it's not too expensive, and you can dive right in. You're not going to spend a weekend trying to configure. I mean, literally, you could take your Switch aside, get all the games loaded on your Switch, and that's not going to take you long, right? You just go to their store or you get the cartridge or whatever, and then plug it in. Even with the V-Pinner, you made that really easy, B. But I think there's just some people that are going to be like, but they don't understand this key thing. Like, it's reversible. There's so many people that are like, you mean I have to buy 2 pinball machines? You don't have to buy 2 pinball machines. Well, I don't want to screw up mine. You're like, it's not going to get screwed up. They're like, no, I don't want to do any firmware swap out. It's going to screw up my machine. Even though it's like wooden. But they do this.
It's easy modding
I'm
options.
thinking about those guys who got that $150 pinball machine from Arcade1Up, and they're like, hey, I'll take the chance. I'd like to play Raiden on my pinball machine.
It's a cool concept, but I rarely play arcade games on my Legends Pinball. Even though I have the whole setup, I have a vertical coin ops build essentially on there that I'm running, and it's nice and fun. But I tried it once or twice, and then I'm like, okay, I'd rather play.
Same thing. I was like, man, this is super neat. Oh, it's so cool. Never came back to it.
Yeah. Donkey Kong on a huge screen, cool. But I don't like looking down playing at it, so different.
Well, I like the idea of it being kind of like a cocktail table. That was my idea, right? But it's not exactly like that. It's still fun, but I just, you know what? I've got so many other arcades there. I could just play it like that, so it doesn't make a lot of point. It's kind of more so if you only have one device, like you have a Legend Pinball and nothing else. Really cool option.
Yeah.
Hey, B, this is a great question for you. Arcade1Up pinball machine, if you do the pinner mods, run them at 1080p, is it going to overheat, damage people's PCBs?
It is definitely something that has been reported. So if you check the temperature while the PCB is attached to your monitor and run it in 1080p, it does get hotter. So the solution is to decase it and just detach it from the metal casing. And you could either mount it and just have it kind of in your cabinet space. It'll decrease the temperature. So you can run everything in 1080p except for the Williams tables. The Attack from Mars tables do not run well in that, but Zen Pinball, the other two, actually look much better in 1080p mode. And as long as you're not playing it super crazily, I haven't seen like people really melting their PCBs, but it is something that you might want to consider if you're like one of those people that leave your cab on all the time, all day long. Maybe add a fan in their ventilation. But otherwise, you want to stay safe, keep it in 720.
Yeah, those boards, Justin, you probably know about this as well as I do. Those boards were poorly optimized, and that chipset should be able to output 1080p 60 frames. I actually think it should be able to output 4K 30 frames, but it has active cooling, so that's good. But in terms of just the poor optimization, it goes heavy on the resources, which is going to cause it to overheat. But those boards will have like an auto shut off. So if it ever got to a point where the temperature was potentially going to damage the board, it'll just kill power to the board, shut off, wait till it's cool again, and then you'll be able to turn it back on.
And that's exactly what happens in terms of people saying it just kind of shut down on me. And that's just a sign of it overheating. So great point.
It just got to a point of internal programming saying, hey, this is too hot. If we go any hotter, we're going to start damaging. So
you want to share my screen real quick?
Yes.
I don't know if a lot of people know about this, but Intech Gaming, I mean, this is actually really cool. $10. $10 for those that have the Intech Gaming cabinet, and they use that Nintendo. Well, it's the Nintendo. I wonder if they're afraid of a claim or something like that. But for $10, they put this little thing together where you can mount your Nintendo Switch right on the little vent there. It's actually pretty clever. It's free shipping, so anyway, if
The Nintendo Switch is my favorite system.
I would
absolutely
imagine,
love it.
I'm curious if that could work on the on the pinball. Like, would you put that behind it? I think there's a little vent on the back of the pinball, isn't there?
Yeah, reaching behind your cabs is always kind of hard, though. I would find like an undermount for a pinball machine.
I
And
think
this is hard to get to.
Yeah,
I have a lot of difficulty with the reach around. Anyways, let's move off from this one now and move towards our last topic. And this is the one I'm most excited about. Sega announced a brand new mini console.
Wait. No. We got one more thing we got to talk about. So, Mike, I need an explanation from you.
Okay.
Oh, P-Dubs, you're gonna.
What is this? What is this all about? Mike, would you care to elaborate on what is happening here?
Well, it looks like someone photoshopped my cartoon face onto Wolverine and then a picture of 19K Fox. Other than that, I don't know.
Like, we need to understand exactly what is happening. Why are you crying? And Fox, any response to this? And
I
by
don't
the
know
way,
I don't know that there's any appropriate response to this. other
I'm
than
so
shock.
confused. I would understand if
horror.
Wolverine was nostalgia and then the picture was of console kits, but I don't
Probably make
understand
more
what
sense
me
that
and
way,
you
yeah.
have to do with this, Fox.
I think something's going on that maybe, guys, this is a safe place, and if you guys want to talk about it, you can talk about it. Oh, look at Fox. He's doing the public. Do it again. All right, now hold it there. Now everyone watch, hold it. Look at that. Oh, yeah. It's in.
Practice.
Sorry. Yeah, we have too much free time on our hands, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, we do.
E-Dubs is like, I don't think I'm going to be able to make the show. Too busy.
Too busy putting together memes.
That's what he was working on for the first 42 minutes of the show.
All right.
Worth
this
it.
picture.
Worth it.
This picture.
Yes.
That is what pulled me in.
That's gorgeous.
I'm so
Yep.
excited for this because
Yep.
this
Yes.
means that poor Nostalgia will finally have some content to make again as he makes this inevitable 67,000 hacking videos about putting RetroArch on the Sega Genesis Mini Model 2.
Oh, God, that looks so cool, doesn't it?
It's so bad. Can't help it.
It's so good. Today
Yeah.
was a fun day. I went out with my daughter and I got to explain this to her. We're at Costco, we're eating some pizza. I'm like, okay, so I was like, you remember the Sega Genesis Mini? She's like, yeah. I'm like, okay, so Sega Genesis came out with a couple different models. I went through the whole story, and then I was explaining CDs and how the first track is where the game is, but track 2, track 3, track 4 is like the audio for the game. So if you took those CDs and put it in a normal CD player, you could actually listen to music. But then if you're on a PlayStation and you're playing some game on a PlayStation, you could swap out and put a real CD in it and listen to your own music. It was a fun conversation, and I was like, but this is fake, but it's so cute.
It's
and I had
so
to explain
awesome.
to her, it doesn't really play CDs. She's like, oh, okay, yeah. I was like, it's just like a toy,
The Gen 2, the Gen 2 was my favorite. It was what I had. I didn't have the Gen 1. The
Me
Model
too,
1,
yeah.
I had the Model 2. And I always loved this layout better. The CD
Yeah.
off to the side, the 32X on top, the
Yes.
5 different power AC adapters. And
I had this set up the exact same as you. I preferred the original Genesis with the Sega CD Model 1 underneath. That was a better look for me, but this is what
True.
everybody had.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
This model was my first experience with Sega.
Yep.
Yeah.
So this is what I had. I had all three of these. Fox, you too? Mike?
yes, loved it.
And this is what I had. I didn't have, this setup here.
That is it, yeah.
Look at Mike. He likes this one.
yeah.
I thought this was better, man. I thought this thing, it looked like, like a space station.
Looks like Knight Rider.
It's
It's cool.
This was more commonplace But I'm sure Justin or Justin will correct me and probably be right. Nostalgia will try to correct me and not know what he's talking about. But the Genesis Model 2 was a cheaper built system. It used cheaper capacitors. I don't know about the Sega CD if there was a quality downgrade, but the Genesis Model 2 was a cheaper system. It had worse graphical and audio performance. Now, Justin, you can correct me. Nostalgia, you can try, and I'm sure people will believe you. But your go.
Nice.
Yeah. So there's a lot of the analog products had a lot of issues. There's some consoles that were just nearly perfect, like the Super Nintendo is nearly perfect. Like if you buy a retro's Super Nintendo, you probably do not have to replace the capacitors. They used high-end components. Even today, it's probably running fine. You may have some occasions where it was in hot weather or whatever. But when it came to Sega made a lot of mistakes, but the communities in the last 5 years has come together to come up with solutions. A lot of third-party products have come out to fix the circuitry of the various Sega Genesis to get perfect audio out and get perfect video with no jail bars, RGB out, things like that. But what's cool is that Sega themselves is coming out with this first-party edition. I'm looking at this like just as a collector, it's good. It's awesome. Like I want to own this and put it on a shelf. I'll still play it, but it's probably going to rest on a shelf. And because to have all of this takes up more space, the real version. Yeah. I have a Model 3 that's been modded so it can take the 32X, but I don't have any way to play the Sega CDs other than my Polymega, which Ralph still hasn't returned.
So, hey guys, hold on, guys, real quick. Guys, Detroit Love needs to take off. Carl, you want to give any final thoughts to everyone before you head out?
Bye.
Bye.
Words of wisdom.
At least tell them you'll see them on the web. That's what they're.
No, I'm not going to be on the web. I'll see you guys out on the road. I'm just beaten. My very best friend from 4th grade is in the hospital, not looking good. It's just been a rough couple of days, and so praying for him, man. Hoping he pulls through. That's my ace Boom Coon. That's the guy I played all these arcade games with, skipped school and played and did all the things we weren't supposed to do. So if you guys if you believe in any God, pray to him for my buddy Sean. I appreciate you. And, I love you guys. Until next time, I'll definitely see you guys on the web as well as these guys. Peace. Love you guys.
See you, everybody.
See you, Carl.
Love you, man.
Later.
So I do got to, Nostalgia, you go ahead. Sorry.
I'm just curious. Has anybody here on the panel or in the chat, has anybody actually pre-ordered this thing?
It's only available through Amazon Japan, if I'm
right
not
now.
mistaken.
Yeah, but they ship to the US to Canada.
Yeah, they do. But
is it going to be a Japanese edition though? That's what I'm worried about.
You can adjust the language.
Yeah.
You'll be able to just change the language.
It's probably going to default to Japan, kind of like in that boot up selection screen, but I'm guessing you could switch it. I'm holding out.
For sure.
There's a Western release coming, right? There has to be.
They haven't announced that.
Yeah, I know they haven't, but come on.
I would actually say there might not be, just with how they've kind of done things, like the Game Gear Micros. I would have thought they would have at least brought just like the black model with the Sonic games to North America.
But I don't say this very often. Nostalgia is 100% correct on this. This is Japan only, guys. It's not coming here.
I'm pre-ordering it right now.
Yeah, exactly. Let me just go ahead and.
So this is Japanese only. Unlike, unfortunately, the actual Genesis Mini that we had here in North America actually underperformed. I mean, you could still in many places you could go get it. So it didn't sell very well. However, it sold like hotcakes in Japan, which was a surprise. So that's why Sega's making this move. They're bringing this out. Oh no! I don't anticipate seeing it. You're not going to see it at retail here in North America. So if you're interested, get it from Amazon Japan right now. Also, I wanted to ask the question: Are they selling any of those accessories with the Genesis Mini Model 2? None at all? Because
I'm saying I want it all. I want it all.
Can you get it? Is it actually a thing?
We got people in the live chat say that you can't get the CD attachment.
Yeah, I tried to get that today. I tried to look for it today. So I could not process through the checkout outside of that region. The actual consoles, yes, but the accessories, no. So you'll probably need to find like a third party where you can pre-order it, send it to someone in Japan who will then ship it overseas to you. It's going to be or you're going to pay, twice as much on eBay for it.
Yeah. So if you guys remember when the original Genesis Mini came out, they did include the Tower of Power, so you could get the Sega CD and you could get the 32X. But those were actually content creator exclusives. Like no one else really got one. Those were only for content creators.
You
sent
could buy
out special ones.
You
Could
can
you buy them?
You could buy those, yeah.
Yeah,
you could buy them.
really?
But it was the same situation, I think. In that case, you couldn't purchase them from Amazon Japan and have them shipped to you. You had to use like some weird workaround to get them out of the country. And they were limited quantity as well.
You could buy them because I remember RGT85 got turned down. They wouldn't send him his tower, but they sent them to a couple other content creators.
I'm looking at one right now. I don't know if you can.
I feel like when it came out, I remember seeing them on Amazon Japan.
Yeah. Well, that sucks if we can't get the full bundle, man.
I know, right?
You could. You just will pay. You're going to pay more for it. But if you're buying it as a collectible piece, then whatever.
Now, after this project's done, are they going to give us our Dreamcast Mini or our Saturn Mini? Is that ever going to happen?
No, we're going to get a Genesis Model 3.
Yeah, that plays 32X games.
That plays 32X games, 100%.
Yeah, I did want to talk about the actual games that are going to be on this. So the 11 games they revealed first: Bonanza Bros, Fantasy Zone, Magical Turo. I don't know what that is. Mansion of Hidden Souls. Popful Mail is a big one. If anybody is a dedicated Sega CD collector, you'll know how expensive that is. Shining Force CD, which is actually the two Game Gear games put together with some extra content at the end. Shining in the Darkest, Slipheed, which is an awesome Sega CD game. Sonic CD, Thunder Force 4, and Virtual Racing. So those are the games we saw earlier. One thing I was really surprised by, if you're going to release Sega CD games, how do you not include an FMV game? Where's Sewer Shark? Where's, Crypt Killer. I'm thinking of some other ones. Fahrenheit. You've also got Tomcat Alley.
They haven't released all the games yet.
I got a
they
feeling
haven't announced.
I've got a feeling where it's Japan only, and where they would have to pay the actors today, we're not going to see any FMV games on this.
I see.
That's good.
Here's what's been announced so far.
Yeah, that's what I just read through.
Okay. Well, I wanted to put it on the screen for everybody.
I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
My credit card's expired on the Japanese Amazon.
No,
Justin, and they only have 3 left in stock.
Well, we'll have to see
They
what
hate
the
us.
full list is going to be. We'll have to see the full list whenever that comes out.
Bill's Retro Gaming Show knows no Night Trap, no buy.
There you go. Guys, make sure you check out Bill's Retro Gaming Show on YouTube. He's got a really good channel. Click that subscriber button. We got
sorry.
We got a $5 donation from Ezekiel. Hey guys, just wanted to say hi and show some support. Love all of you guys. Well, all of us, except
Even
for
nostalgia.
Well, I was going to say
Well,
except for nostalgia.
Wow.
Nostalgia
Sorry,
especially
sorry.
loves you. Yes,
Not everybody.
thanks so much.
So, anyways, I got to
Okay.
talk about this. If there's one FMV game they put on this goddamn thing, it has to be Marky Mark's Make My CD. Like, it has to happen.
Jeez.
Oh my god,
That's not going to happen, Mike.
I wonder he would probably go for it though.
Oh, yeah, totally. He doesn't give a shit.
It said Fantasy Zone is a new port. Are there any videos out there that show like what this game is? I'll have to get caught up. I'll get caught up later. I'll be more prepared.
Yeah, like I'm sure this thing is cool, and I know people were really upset today that it wasn't like a Dreamcast Mini, but we all kind of knew it was going to be like Justin. We did a show. We talked about this. You know, they had that cake, that wonderfully crafted cake. I mean, that should have gave everybody.
We should have known.
No, I think I was watching RGT85, and I wanted to screen through my I like the guy, everything.
Yeah.
He's a great guy, but like he's missing that one thing. Like I want to message him and be like, hey, there's this one thing you don't know. You clearly don't know. Like the only reason they're not giving us Dreamcast, it's not about the processing speed. It's not about whether it's hard or not to emulate it. It's M2 hasn't made the emulator yet. It's
That's
as
right,
simple as that. Like this is how it works. M2's all like, hey Sega, you got that $1 million check yet? They're like, yeah, we'll pay it over time. They're like, okay, once you do, we'll build the Dreamcast, emulator, and M2's not going to do it for free. And so Sega's probably like, well, what can we get for $100,000? They're like, you can get a couple more Sonic CD and a handful of CD games. They're like, okay, we could flip that and sell it on Switch. and then we can sell it in Japan, and we'll get there. We'll get there. But it's not processing speed. It's straight up like Sega nearly exclusively uses M2 for their emulation, and there hasn't been proven a Dreamcast emulation on these systems.
So, Nostalgia, you dabble in the dark arts a little bit. Can you tell me how close the Sega Genesis emulation to Sega CD emulation is anyways? It's fairly close, isn't it?
I have no idea what you're asking me, Mike. The emulation for Sega CD on what?
The emulators that run Sega Genesis games typically run Sega CD as well, don't they?
Yes.
It's very close in emulation, so it should be easy to do.
Yes, you just need BIOSes.
That's right. Yeah.
So you need to license out the BIOS, which if Sega's doing it, then they can. But in the dark arts world, you're not really getting it licensed.
So, second question: how different is the Dreamcast emulation to the Sega Genesis emulation?
They're the same.
Okay,
they're identical.
Exactly the
so
same.
then why didn't they release them?
You just need a BIOS. That's it.
The BIOS. It's
All I see in my head is a dark arts T-shirt with nostalgia on it, holding some ROMs and BIOS in his hand. The dark arts.
Make it happen.
We want a dark arts T-shirt, nostalgia.
We can do that.
Nice.
All right, I got pizza waiting for me. We done? We got more to go?
Wait, so the show ends when you want it to end? You
I know.
came late.
Messed
You
up.
can leave early if you want.
Easy night. I'm working banker's hours today. I should head out early, and you guys keep going. I'd be like, ever hear that? Banker's hours, where you come in late, leave early.
Yeah, I don't think we really have much else to talk about. I mean, Summer Game Fest is upon us. We haven't heard anything from the home arcade companies, so hopefully there is some cool surprises. The only thing we didn't talk about that I wanted to talk about tonight, we can do it very quick, was At Games have their summer sale coming up. Anybody who didn't see the PW.
What
Did you want to say anything about the summer sale from At Games?
Yeah, next weekend, go buy some shit. Have a great weekend, everybody.